Well, welcome to Your Health Matters, everyone. This is Carl Sterling, and today we have an incredibly inspiring guest. Somebody who's been on the show a couple times before, but today we're going to dig a little bit deeper. My guest is a very dear friend of mine who's been living with Parkinson's for over 10 years. But she doesn't let it stop her. She doesn't let this interfere with her life, doesn't let Parkinson's define her. And you just heard from Eli Pallard, worker at World Parkinson Congress. Well, guess what? Eli and my guest know each other. In fact, Laura Olmos is with us today. We've had her before, and she's back. Laura, welcome. And how you doing?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Always a pleasure. Always great to see you. And every time I see you, we talk. I get so inspired because you're doing stuff that no disrespect to any listeners, but most of them aren't doing what you do. And most of them who I'm thinking of don't have Parkinson's, and they're still not doing what you do. And I could even say, I'm not even doing what you do. Because we spent some time together here in travels over the years, you teaching with me and translating when needed. And I appreciate that greatly. But I'll tell you, I just really admire so much your spirit, your perspectives on life and living in the now. And I refer to you often on the show, which you may already know.
Yeah.
But well, you inspire so many, and when we've been together, it's hard to keep up with you. I got to tell you, girl, it's hard to keep up with you. But I'm glad because you inspire me. First of all, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I do have challenges, but I work on them and I'm feeling really great. Thank you. We're doing really good right now.
Well, I'm
Are
really, really glad about that. Let's just go back a little bit. So you were diagnosed, if my memory serves me correct, wasn't around 11 years ago or so?
Yes, I was diagnosed at 2013 when I was 40 years old.
Okay. All right. So 2013, you were 40. So
Yes.
this has been going on for over 11 years,
Yeah.
but also you had symptoms prior, obviously, right? Because you wouldn't have gotten diagnosed if you didn't have symptoms. But how long were you having any indication that something was up?
Well, really, of today, I go back and see myself and when I was 30 or in my 30s. It's hard to identify that you have Parkinson's or that something is going just not good with you because maybe I just got more weight because I had my kids, or maybe I'm slower now, or I don't know why I'm doing my letters so a little. I mean, I can't understand my writing.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm always all the time in the computer. Just you start like normalizing or just getting used to this and that, and just giving excuses for everything. So I really didn't notice I was having a symptoms of any kind, but people around me, yes, they just kept telling me, "Are you nervous? Why are you dragging your foot?" I didn't notice this, so this was about, or it was just about 10 years. Uh, it's my 30s and up to my 40s, when I was 40 years old, that I decided to go to the neurologist when I had tons of symptoms and everything was just not right. I don't feel proud about that, but it's something I like to share because you could start identifying that you're not good. Don't normalize things. It's not normal, like, to uh be slow, gain weight, maybe some other things. You could listen to your body. Just start knowing your body better, listening
Yeah.
to it. And I didn't do nothing of that.
Well, so we could take this now and look at it as an education. I mean, that's what this show is all about. So, for example, Eli and I were talking in this last hour about early diagnosis being the earlier the better, right? But if you don't know something, like sometimes we just don't know that we could even know certain things. So normalizing it's not unusual in a lot of cases, right? if we just don't know, then we don't know, and we can think, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. For whatever we're dealing with, could be something other than Parkinson's. But when we look at it, though, especially if other people start to notice something, well, hopefully we notice it first and we can get to the doctor and have them take us seriously, folks. Remember, we want to make sure we have good doctors who actually listen and don't just send you out the door with a pill or just brush it off, because that does happen a whole lot. Well, sometimes you need a second opinion, but the important thing is to get diagnosed or figured out what's going on, if there's a diagnosis, as soon as possible. So that's education number one. Now, I want to I'm going to dovetail onto that and say, or piggyback onto this, saying, even though you, Laura, didn't get diagnosed right away, it wasn't like you were trying to be negligent or just blow things off, right? You just didn't do it. But even with a later diagnosis, look at where you're at now. I've known you 6 years and you're just kicking butt. And like I say, it's hard to keep up with you. But but obviously sooner's better, but you are the living, breathing example of somebody who's fighting back. And I just want to say bravo to you for that, first of all. That is just so incredible. Where does that spirit come from?
Well, you never expect to be diagnosed with anything, right? Uh, I didn't expect to be diagnosed with Parkinson's. I had like my life plan when you're just growing up, and your parents want the best for you, and you study, and you do things for you. I mean, work out, exercise, eating healthy. As I said, my parents are doctors, so they always were telling us what is right and what to eat good and stuff like that. So when I was 40, I was working. I have my two kids. They were very small. And, well, I had the diagnosis. It was just horrible. I mean, it was, what is Parkinson's at first? I didn't understand the word. I didn't understand why me. So I didn't have any information. That's why I didn't identify any symptoms.
Sure.
People around me, they were very kind, and my friends, my coworkers always helped out, but I really didn't understand what was happening. I didn't have any like alerts or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I just normalized everything. So I think my kids were like starting points, or maybe just I tell them that they're my they're the ones who rocked my world, because I just thought, how can they have a mother that has Parkinson's? Are they gonna grow up? I don't want that for them. And then after that, I didn't never thought about me. I mean, just them. And just later on in life, I mean, a couple of years more, when I started to connect with information and starting to maybe talk to more people and learn, someone told me, who are the five persons you love most in life? So I wasn't in the list.
Oh,
And that's it. I learned to love myself more. I learned to be the first one in my list of persons I loved.
wow. That's really powerful. That's a really, actually, we have to go to break in about 1 minute, but just thinking about the way you put that, every time we talk, I learn so much from you and you inspire me greatly. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And I've said this on air before. You are the person who's helped me the most with living in the now. Now, it's a little bit different subject, but also to, practicing any type of self-love and self-respect, which, if you listened to me last week, folks, on my rant about finding your inner grit and your inner drive and finding a sense of purpose and believing in yourself. Well, I didn't have that. I didn't have that for the longest time, probably the first 50 years of my life at least. And so we're going to go to break. We're going to continue on this because this is such a huge area of our lives that we can examine. We can learn from Laura. You're listening to Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, we are back with Laura Olmos, and Laura, it's really powerful what you're talking about. Um, so just going back to last week, folks, just one second. We're finding like our sense of purpose. You know, I was just talking with somebody yesterday that once she found a sense of purpose in her life, everything changed. It's not the easiest thing sometimes to find, but what was it like for you back then? You had, like you said, you had family, your plans, you have small kids. Like, what were some of the driving forces that accompanied you putting yourself on the list of people to love? Because it all ties in together, it seems.
Yes. Well, someone just asked me, I mean, can't remember where. Uh, I was just talking about complaining about me and why me, and everything was about me. Everything. I can't do this because Parkinson's. So I had Parkinson's like a center of my life, and this and that, right? So, uh, this person asked me that, and I suddenly understood everything. So if I love myself more, if I was in my list in the first place, I was going to be able to eat better, go to the doctor, listen to my body, learn to know it, my body. Maybe just uh, doing exercise because I didn't do any exercise in those 10 years. I mean, I had every symptom you want to mention: rigidity, gait, posture, everything, tremors.
Mhm.
And as the years just passed, I learned more things. One of them, the persons I learned about, I mean, was you when I went to the workshop in Austin, the first workshop I took about Parkinson's and wellness. So I think it's just about loving yourself, respecting your body, eating well, doing exercise, going to the doctors, just keep on what the doctor says. And everything just gets better because your family is gonna live better, more happier because you are better, doing good.
Mhm.
So my symptoms somehow, I just um for example, the tremors, I don't have any more tremors. I have a better gait. I have better posture now, but I do work on it every
Mhm.
single day.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to intervene here. I just want to say, first of all, Laura has the blessing of having a really good neurologist, Dr. Morales. Right. I don't even know him. I've talked with him online, but I love him because he listens to you. Well, most of the time, anyways.
Oh, most of the time, yes.
I say that jokingly and with love and respect for him that, yes, I know once in a while maybe he's busy or whatever, but compared to what we see a lot around my area here and in the United States, I mean, there's a big difference between what he's providing for you versus your standard care here, which is not really listening that much, not advising people to exercise much. I've even had people here in Syracuse say exercise won't help you at all. That's just so ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's stupid. It's just stupidity. It's ignorance. I don't know where they're getting that. So they hand you a pill and you send you out the door and see you in a year. But okay, I don't want to go off. This is about you, not me. So I just went off for a minute. As you know, I tend to do that. Um, Then, yeah, we met 6 years ago. In May, it's gonna be 6 years in Austin, and you came, and, I'll never forget, and I've said it before, I didn't think you had Parkinson's. I figured somebody with you had Parkinson's, but it was you. I was like, You're kidding me. Really?" 'Cause I never would have known. So, tell us more about this journey, what got you in okay, you put yourself on a list, self-love. Respect yourself, your body, listen to your body, treat your body well, eat well, exercise. Did this just come like that? How did this unfold? I'm curious about that particular transformation and how you decided it's time to eat better, maybe, and exercise and just fight back.
Well, I was diagnosed at 40, and I asked the doctor, what I have to do? And he just told me, you have to change all of your life habits. I mean, just change them all. So I said, where do I start? What? I didn't know how to exercise. I didn't know how to walk. I mean, I was just dragging my foot. I needed somebody to help me out. There was no one. There was no information. Everything was in. I know English, but I was. It was really hard to connect to information, to education about how to be better with Parkinson's condition. So I started by myself. Walking, exercise. Doctor said you have to do exercise. You have to eat better, more healthy. I remember what my parents told me when I was little. So I just started on my. I started on my own. Right now, I I have training. I mean, I've been to some uh training specifically for Parkinson's. I go to conferences, and I'm very into that. So I have a nutritionist. I have my physiotherapist. I want to learn. I want to learn more and share this information too. So I exercise about 2 to 3 hours a day, different routines. I don't use yoga all the time, or tai chi, or walk, or run, or steps, or swim, or whatever other activity I do. I try not to let the brain I try to stimulate the brain with different activities. Even when I walk, I don't walk the same direction. So I think it's all about starting to take the decision. I want to change my life, and why? Well, I wanted to change my life because I don't want to have rigidity. I don't want to be stuck in one place. Doctors here, they don't give much hope to a person who have Parkinson's. Uh, you help me with that. You help me believe in myself again. Dr. Mireles help me believe in myself again. You can live well with Parkinson's. How? Exercising, loving yourself more, respecting your body, eating healthy. And that's what I did. Then after that, I started to know people, know programs, know information, more information. So I started doing things specifically for Parkinson's. And now, well, I think I have my own challenges. I have new challenges. Sometimes I don't know. I'm gonna wake up and what's this day gonna be like? So uh, I've been having a little bit of rigidity, but I'm sleeping more. So I have sometimes I have 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep, but also 8 hours or 9 hours without medicine. So it's normal that when I wake up, I have a little bit of rigidity. So how do I manage that? Moving, exercise. I don't take more medicine. So I feel really good about that, you know. Yes.
No, it's amazing. So just so people know, and I didn't say this before, you're in Mexico. Um, and in my next trip to Mexico, it's going to be my 20th trip there in 7 years. I actually love Mexico. Everybody knows I love Mexico. So you're in Mexico. Folks, did you hear what she said about 2 to 3 hours a day of exercise? Did you hear her say 2 to 3 hours of exercise a day? I don't exercise 2 to 3 hours a day. I do move a lot throughout the day with my job, but even I am not. So I'm guilty now, as I say semi-jokingly. We have to go to break in about a minute and a half, but let's just put in a few other little notes here, things to think about. You have a lot of stuff on your plate. You're doing a lot of different activities and work and family business and this and that, which we'll talk about some of the foundation stuff you're doing when we get back. 2 to 3 hours a day of exercise. You're stimulating your brain. You do I know you very well, and I know that you do a lot of things for brain stimulation besides just walking in a different direction, doing all kinds of different exercises and group activities. So, with that said, let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue with Laura Olmos. She's a Parkinson's fighter. She is a warrior, and she is the living, breathing example of somebody who's walking the talk, not just saying, hey, you should do this. She's doing what I want everyone to do, including myself. Yeah, well, I have an episode coming on that soon in the near future. This is Your Health Matters, 570 WSYR, and we'll be back with Laura almost in a couple of minutes. Okay, we are back with Laura almost. Okay, you were talking about exercise. Okay, and your sleep. Now that's a big one too, because it sounds like you might be sleeping a little bit more now than you used to. Is that
Yes,
true?
a lot more. Yes.
And how's that going? Is that helping you?
Yes, definitely it is because I couldn't sleep well because my body didn't let me. Not because I couldn't sleep. I mean, I wanted to sleep, but my body had like this involuntary movement sometimes. So he wanted more medicine in my body, He wanted more levodopa. So I didn't give it to him. I said, no, we're going to try something else. So I do yoga, I do meditation, I do Tai Chi. I I am with the enjoying life, have dopamine, but the natural way of having it, like enjoying yourself, collecting happy moments.
Happy moments.
Live,
I was just gonna say.
yeah, the happy moments. Yes, being with your family, being with friends. I love animals. I enjoy nature. So I try to do all of this almost every day, and it helps me a lot. So I don't go to Dr. Mireles. I don't go to my neurologist. First, I do everything else. How am I doing in my nutrition? How am I doing in my exercise? What haven't I tried? How is for example, how much water am I drinking? How is my sleep? And so my sleep wasn't too good. I mean, I didn't rest well because of I'm telling you, but I went to Dr. Mireles and he had this changes in my hours of taking medication. Not he didn't give me more. The same thing, just in fact he uh prescribed a little bit less. So it did work. It did work, but I do exercise. I think the meditation, being mindfulness about things, sleep habits, no cell phones, no not watching TV very late. Uh, it does help. So now I'm sleeping about from 8 to 9 hours, sometimes 7. It's not the same every night. But in the
Well,
morning, I wake up
mhm.
a little bit of rigidity. It goes away when I touch the floor, when I start moving, when I do exercise. So I have 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the midday, sometimes a little bit more. I'm not really just counting the time. I just have to do 2 or 3. I just listen to my body. So wants to go running, or wants to go for a walk, or wants to go do Tai Chi, swimming, whatever thing is good for me. I don't do the same thing every.
Yeah, no, I know, we know each other pretty well, and you've done so many different things. I mean, your routines for exercise, they vary a lot, but you're not just focusing on the physical aspect too of exercising your body, but your mind, mindfulness, right? Sleep, that's not exercise, but just these different domains that you cover, like, okay, so you're moving. You know that if you get moving, is there ever a time that you get moving and you don't feel better? I mean, but most of the time you're still better when you move, right?
If my body doesn't want to move for any reason, I put music. I start to laugh. I just call my dog Bruno. He helps me out. Or I visit friends and I just have to move. And my body does want to move also. Sometimes you might be sad because you say, oh, I have Parkinson's again. I wake up and I say, oh, I have Parkinson's again. I remember that. So sometimes you just get tired of that, right? But you have to see the good things in life, because it's not good just listening to someone that is also, I mean, all the time complaining. I can't complain. I feel very blessed. I feel very happy. I could move. I could walk. You don't have to wait to have a health condition in life to start moving, to start doing exercise, to start eating better, to start drinking more water. You don't have to wait for that. I just listen to everybody and says, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for gym. I don't have time. I don't have time. It's only work, my kids, and my home. I mean, I can't do nothing more. But one day, you just have this diagnosis like me, or you don't. You don't have to have that diagnosis. Just one day, just see things as they are and say, I think I need to change my habits and start moving, start exercising. Exercise, exercise, exercise. That's what has worked for me. And that's what I shared, You can live what better with or without Parkinson's if you exercise, if you love your body.
So, but this brings me to some notes that I wrote last night, anticipating you would say exactly that. So I wrote down that you are living proof that excuses are barriers we create in our minds. And so besides this, I'm going to ask two questions here. We create these things in our minds, these barriers. I've done it. I did it most of my life until a few years ago where I had to get my act together. What message do you want our listeners to take away regarding the barriers they might be creating? And there are people out there, perfectly healthy bodies, who aren't taking care of themselves. I mean, what do you say to people? And people, I'm just saying, we're asking her this question. Neither one of us are going to be coming at you in a condescending, judgmental way, but in an impassioning way, hopefully, to just maybe inspire you to move or do something. But does that make sense? Those questions, like, what do you
Of
recommend for
course.
those who can do everything and they just don't want to, and they
Well, I don't have the perception right now for those people who can do everything, because it's not my case. I couldn't do everything, When I just noticed I had a health condition was when the doctor said, do this, when they just examine you in his office and uh, you just see all the things you can't do. That's that's very awful. And that's very surprising. That was very surprising for me because I normalized everything as I said. So if you're listening to me right now and you can do everything, you're a healthy person, uh, just be aware of that. Be aware of that. Like, and you can move, that you could exercise. Maybe you could find an activity you like. Just don't let another person this decision for you. Explore. Maybe you want to walk, start walking, start running, join a basketball team and volleyball, whatever kind of exercise you like. I didn't know what I liked. Parkinson's took it away from me. I didn't like what colors I like. I didn't know anything because Parkinson's somehow took this information away. So I had to start exploring. And right now, if you just tell me you want to do this, yes. You want to do that, yes. I want to learn more. I want to learn everything. I want to try it all because I think it's just uh, we have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of time for it, for everything. It's just you just have to know that you have this opportunity to do everything, that life is very short. And what do you want to do about your life? Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to go? How do you want this to end? Sometimes I say, we're like a train. Do you want it just to be perfect when you die, like very clean with no, how do you say this? No marks. Or you want to be like very messy. I want to be like a messy train because they're going to say, this person, she really lived out her life well because she experienced things, she worked out, she just lived. No.
see. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but I could almost finish your sentences sometimes because like the just live part. See,
Just live.
between
Worry.
when my mom passed away and then with you and your perspective on things, I have lived more in the now and just actually living than I ever have in my life in the past 4 months. And I was before that, but mom's passing amplified everything, including what you say. You're the first person I thought of when I'm thinking about every moment I had with her at the end was so beautiful. Those 6 days of beauty, it was a blessing. But also, I I really have to go to a break in a second, folks. I love the idea, like dying as a messy train. This person lived. Look at, they're all banged up and they're a mess, but boy, they lived. So they got a lot out of this life. I have a famous saying I quote, and I didn't make it up, and I don't know who did. Most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. I don't want that to be you, and it's definitely not going to be me. You're listening to Your Health Matters on 570 WSYR, also available on 106.9 FM. We have one more segment coming up with Laura Olmos after this break. Here we go. All right, we're back for our last segment here with my friend Laura Olmos. Laura, it's always really just great to talk with you and see you and learn from you. You know, you're doing amazing work just in your own life. But also, you know, you're very, very world renowned actually. People know you all over the world, and especially in the Spanish speaking community. Um, you're doing a whole lot of work in different groups here and there online. Everybody knows you and you're such an inspiration to them, but you're also doing work with a couple of entities. For example, Davis Finney Foundation, and then of course the World Parkinson Coalition. And like I said last hour, we talked with Eli Pollard, who's the executive director. Can you share a little bit about the work you're doing for these foundations?
Yes, thank you, Carl. Well, the Davis Finney Foundation, they invited me to be an ambassador, a Parkinson's ambassador, a Hispanic ambassador. So what do I do about that? I help connect people to resources, to educational resources, to maybe some support groups here in Mexico and other Latin American countries, in the United States, also in other countries in the world. Just help them connect and sometimes just listen to people. Not only persons with Parkinson's or Parkinson's condition, but also their caregivers, their families, their support groups. You know me, I mean, we visited different communities here in Mexico, different support groups, and just help them out connecting to information. So that's what I do in the Dailies Fini. Just share my testimony, share this information, how to connect, how to help them out, and tell them we can live well with Parkinson's. And I do believe that. I really do believe that you have to have hope. You have to believe in yourself first. If you could do it, so just keep on and just do it. Just live and do it. That's what I'll
So
do.
I'm interrupting 1 second. I'm very sorry, but I think it's an appropriate time to mention again that you don't let Parkinson's define who you are because you aren't Parkinson's. You are Laura. You are you and you live with Parkinson's. And I want everybody to make sure that if you have a diagnosis, maybe God forbid it's cancer, MS, it's MSA, it's Parkinson's, it's anything, that doesn't define who you are. You are you first and you live with something. So yeah, keep going. I'm sorry. But I let those are beautiful words of wisdom though. It's so important to just live. Really get the most
You
out
know,
of it.
yes, and you know what? When you start connecting to people, I mean, just go outside of your comfort zone. You start noticing that's not about Parkinson's and it's not about diabetes or whatever other health condition you could have or not. It's about persons. It's about sharing. It's about being better. It's about just wanting for you and the other person to have a better version of himself or
Yeah.
herself. It's wanting to be a better world. So I think what we do in the Davis Finney Foundation is like a number of persons. I mean, there's caregivers, there's people with Parkinson's, there's specialists, like there's a scientific committee, there's like the board of the directors, the staff. All of us was just joint efforts and want that people who have Parkinson's and their caregivers and their families live well today with Parkinson's. So I just love it. I just are very great. I'm very grateful that they invited me as a Davis Finney ambassador. And I love
Yeah.
sharing and learning from all other people, other cultures, other support groups. How are they working out? You don't have to discover a new program. Maybe they're just already doing that. You just have to learn from them. That's what
Yeah.
I do.
You know, the social aspect of things is so important too. I mean, it doesn't have to be that group or WPC, which we'll talk about in a second, but any group where you can maybe share this common thread or bond of doesn't even have to be Parkinson's, just something's going on and you just want to live better. And somebody might be able to inspire you who's got some other condition or no condition at all. Because I look at it like this, I can learn from everybody. You know, I figure everybody has something they can teach me, if not probably a lot of things. How about the World Parkinson Coalition? Because we know that's the Congress is happening May 24th to May 27th next year, 2026 in May. Um, but you're working closely because Eli told me she's in touch with you a whole lot working towards things for the WPC. What are you doing with them? And congratulations on that too, because that's a real shaky.
Thank you. Well, I was invited to as first. Well, I applied like for a Parkinson's ambassador of the WPC. I wasn't selected at first. They invited me to as an internal committee. I mean, an internal of the organization. For example, I'm in the YOPD fundraising for
So that's young onset
Yes.
Yeah.
Young onset Parkinson's disease. Yeah. So we are 12 persons in the world that are in this committee from 4 different countries. I'm the only one in Mexico and the only one representing the Hispanic community. So, in they are doing like 1 month campaign. It's open all the year, right? Every one of them have 11 months. I have the 12th month, but I decided not to have only 1 month because it's not enough for me. I need the whole year because there's more countries I represent and the Hispanic community. I mean, we don't have the enough income per person in different countries. Their economies are different, so I needed more time. So I'm working in the fundraising committee or collaborating with them. It's really very challenging responsibility and work I need to do because I go and knock doors and just tell them all about this and explaining to them what is a Congress and everything more. So I'm also in Parkinson's Advocate Committee as in the inside of the organization, and well, as an ambassador too.
That's great. I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy for you, and they're happy to have you. This is really good news. So we have 3 minutes till we have to do a hard stop. These radio minutes go so fast. I want to ask you, of all the things you could say, the words of wisdom you've shared, which are so many, do you have a specific takeaway message for people out there in general and also people living with Parkinson's?
Well, I told them too that life is very short. Sometimes we ask ourselves, what am I doing right now? Where is my life directed to? You know, I studied business. I was working. I was so happy, or I thought I was happy. Somehow, just my life changed to a Parkinson's condition. I had to work again, learn how to walk again, and do all of this stuff. So I think I could narrow it to enjoy your life. Just something about yourself. Love more. And just remember, you don't only live, or you don't have a condition. You have more in common with other people. Help other people, enjoy life, love yourself more. I mean, it's not only like one sentence. I think it's a lot of things you have to do for
Oh, it
yourself.
is. It's a loaded question that could take hours to answer.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's hard for any of us usually to answer that in 2 minutes, but I love having you on the show. I love talking with you. I know when I've been with you, you're very difficult to keep up with when you're running. So I've got to work on my running for next time I see you because you're fast. And I'm not. Um, but I appreciate it. Thanks a million for joining me.
No, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share. And it's always, I'm very happy to join you in your programs. I learn a lot from you too. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, I put together information from people all over the place. I learn. I just try to put it all together and then deliver the information. I don't really mean this in a bad way about myself. I don't think I'm really smart enough to come up with any original ideas on my own. So I learn from others and then I share. Because as I get older, I realize my perspective is changing on a lot of things. So maybe I can offer more and be more for others. Folks, we are out of time. We have 20 seconds left, Laura. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining me. Yeah, stay with me for a minute, but we're going to sign off here. You're listening to Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR, also available on 106.9 FM. Remember, folks, move your body and use your brain every single day.